a similar point to the previous gentleman, really. As a civil servant, if you were to leak information, or if you accidentally emailed it, let's say, or on purpose to your own email address, you would be out, and there would be no avenue back.
Is that right?
And it's absolutely, because you are given very strict instructions. You are dealing with highly sensitive information sometimes, be it information about policy or a member of the public or something broader. And if you were to accidentally email it, there might be a conversation. But to willingly send it, which is what the reports say, there would be no avenue of recourse. It doesn't matter if you fell on your sword, you would be out.
And
again,
you're focusing on the one that she was essentially done for, the one that she was caught sharing, largely because she accidentally sent it to the wrong person. She was trying to send it to the wife of an MP as well as an actual MP, but she sent it to the aide of a different MP who presumably has a similar name, and that MP took it to the chief whip, who took it to the cabinet secretary, who took it to the cleaners. 6 days later, she's back in her job. But Jake Berry's intervention last night, the former Tory party chairman, suggests that was, the tip of the iceberg. The phrase multiple and serious is used to describe her breaches. I can't quite believe this, actually, and I sense you can't either.
No, and even one is enough, but to hear that there are more, potentially, we don't need training on how not to share information that is absolutely imperative that it remains private. There is no one in all my tenure as a civil servant who I know has ever done this, ever.
Well,
and I've been involved in investigations myself.
A technical infringement of the rules, she called it. A technical infringement of the rules. That's just not true, is it?
It's not true at all. It's appalling. And again, it stinks of the overall view that we're seeing is that people are not accountable as ministers for what they do. And if we can't hold them to account, how on earth can we expect them to act in a way that is best for us as a country?
That's a really good point. And I, very, very naively, for 10 minutes on Tuesday, I thought Rishi Sunak really was going to be focusing upon integrity and accountability and professionalism. I thought it was a very deliberate departure from what had gone before. I had this image of him, albeit going along with some of Johnson's most egregious conduct, I had this image of him sitting in Downing Street, hating it, really think this is awful, but I'm better on the inside than I am on the outside. I can mitigate some of the awfulness. I can alleviate some of the bad things he's doing from the inside. I can't do it from the outside. Whatever justifications he came up with for staying on board the Boris Johnson bandwagon, I had this image of him sitting there despising it and actually thinking it was disgraceful and thinking it was wrong, which is why I still don't understand why on his first day in the job, he signed up to the Boris Johnson school of unaccountability, absence of integrity and base unprofessionalism. I don't get it.
It's bizarre.
It is,
you cannot say trust is earned and then rehire somebody who's stepped over the mark in such a huge and evidenced way. It is absolutely bizarre. I can't understand why he would do it, given that speech.
No, and that's why
it doesn't fit.
It doesn't, does it? And I will continue to ask that question. Why has he sacrificed on day one any hopes of restoring perceptions of integrity and probity by reappointing somebody to one of the highest offices in the land who, I mean, is clearly unfit for purpose? Just by way of an aside, one for the pub quizzes, she always has KC after her name for King's Counsel. Previously, of course, when the late Queen was alive, Queen's Counsel, which normally means that somebody's career as a barrister has earned the status. It's a status. It's bestowed upon the best barristers in the land. It's also something that you get automatically when you're appointed Attorney General. So Suella Braverman is the only King's Counsel in the country who gets to put those letters after her name for reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with her career as a barrister. So don't fall into the trap of thinking that she's a good lawyer. She was an absolutely appalling Attorney General, and she's only got King's Counsel after her name because it came with her previous job.